Madison, welcome to the Madison podcast. I'm your host, New York's favorite British mortgage broker, Ben Lavender. Boom, biggity bang, diggity dang, shiggity shang, okay? Today we have Mark Metzler, part 2 on the podcast. He is a G if you don't know him. That's actually not true. Mark is one of the nicest guys in the world. He's not as aggressive as I'm being now, but he gets things done. Mark, what's up? Welcome back. Just, again, quick, brief, reintroduce yourself. Pretend I didn't do that. Tell the people who you are, what you do.
Well, thank you for having me. Again, my name is Mark Metzler. I'm a realtor with Compass in Westchester County, New York. If you don't know, it's the suburbs above Manhattan. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Of course, man. So you were here, what, a year ago? A little over a year ago, actually. I think it was
like December, maybe 2021.
Wow.
Time maybe like January 2022.
So what have you been up to? I mean, we talked about this before. I know you moved to Compass and things are going well. Let's talk about that again a little bit more.
Yeah. So moved to Compass in June of 2022. It was just it was time to leave my previous brokerage because I was starting to be a big fish in a small pond, in my personal opinion. And I wanted to be around people that were doing bigger things and doing things that were more about, the community than about themselves. And I found that, and it's been fantastic ever since being there.
Awesome. And you're having, we don't have to talk about numbers specifically, but I know that you're having a great year.
Yeah.
In a year where a lot of people are struggling in the business, both loan officers and realtors, quite candidly. Yes. So, again, I know you don't want to give away the source, and I don't blame you, but what do you think it is, or what can you talk about that has really been giving you the ability to do that?
I think when the amount of people who want to do deals are running dry, those leads are running dry, your conversion matters more than anything else. And so being able to take a lead, help them, convert them, and make sure that they are now your client, they're going to do a deal with you, and then structure the deal in a way where it actually gets to the closing table is more important than ever. Because it's incredibly competitive out there. It is not easy by any means. I've seen people fail daily, and things are getting crazy. But if you're...
Sorry, Mark, but would you give most of those results are coming from evenly lead generation and the conversion, or when I say conversion, I mean putting a deal together and getting the offer accepted and all that. You think it's primarily the lead gen side, or you putting the deal together side?
I would say me putting the deal together side.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know myself pretty well, and lead generation is the area where I am the weakest. So I do not do as much lead generation as I need to.
But with the leads that you have,
leads that I have, I close them.
You're crushing the business. Life is good. What's next? Well, you've been doing this for how long? 3 years, 4 years?
A little over 3 years now.
Okay, so it's pretty remarkable, not to toot your head up and blow your head up too much, but, to achieve this level of success, I wouldn't say it's unheard of, but it's definitely uncommon.
Correct.
Okay, so let me ask you this question as someone who's fairly arrogant myself, is how do you keep yourself humble? And I think you kind of answered it when you said that you were going to Compass, but maybe there's something else that you're doing. And 2, what do you have planned next?
So keeping myself humble, I think is, I come from very blue collar background, and I know that I can always go back to that. If people don't want to do deals with me and don't trust me to handle their assets, then I will go back to, turning wrenches or washing cars or something like that, which I used to do. And so I always keep the gratitude for every one of my clients because they don't have to do deals with me. They can go to Sally or Bob or Jill and do deals with them. But they don't. They come to me and they trust me and they pay me a lot of money. So I'm very happy about that and I'm very grateful. As far as what's next, it is simply to continue, expansion always and always. And I'm looking to purchase my own house this time next year.
Yes, we've spoken about that. So
yes.
Can you talk about the significance of how that will affect your life? What is the purpose of it? Is it going to be a house that you're going to be living in? Is it going to be multifamily? What's the plan there?
So yes to both. It is going to be a property that I'm going to be living in. It is also going to be multifamily because it's going to be probably a 2-family somewhere in Lower Westchester. I'm thinking Mamaroneck. We'll see. But if the right opportunity comes up somewhere else, then,
You're house hacking.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, again, a buzzword that we don't like so much.
Exactly, because it gets, Anyway, but yes, it will be a multifamily, probably a 2. If I can get a good 3, I will, because it's a little bit easier to finance, and I don't have to prove as much money to you, and I don't have to pay as much money to Uncle Sam.
That's true.
but it will be significant because, I will be 28 by that time and purchase probably $1 million worth of real estate.
Yeah, I forget how young you are.
That's not something that a lot of people can say.
Yeah, I was your age. I was 28 when I got my first one.
Exactly.
So maybe it's a lucky one.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to do, I think, in New York without help from family or whatever the case may be, unless they're making a lot of money, because as we know, it's very expensive to live here.
Unfortunately.
So it's quite an accomplishment. Most of I have very, very few clients that buy a home under the age of 30 without help.
Yeah.
Like I can count them on my 10 fingers. How many I've done in the past? I don't know, like 5 years. It's very very rare, very rare.
Yeah, and it's strictly because of the program that I plan on using and the fact that I will be buying a multifamily and I know how to work it and structure that and get things to where I need to be.
And we shall help you with that.
Exactly.
We know the ways. We know the secrets.
I will be getting a lovely mortgage from the British mortgage broker.
Yes, absolutely. It will not be a quadrupled interest rate for us to make millions
Many
of dollars
fees
off
will
of
be
you.
paid.
All of the fees. Ben's trip to Colombia.
That's
Ben's trip to Dominican. Whatever.
I will be paying for many vacations.
Yeah.
Through that mortgage.
You can come with me.
Yeah, maybe. Then I got to pay more fees.
It'll be a good time. But in all seriously speaking, is that this is part of your grand master plan to own real estate, eventually get into development and do bigger things. I mean, that's so what do you have long term, or do you not want to speak to that? I respect if you don't want to talk about it.
Long term, it's a very, very broad plan. I do want to get into development. If it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. My main goal is to continue moving up in price point and improving the service to my clients and buying more real estate.
Okay.
Diversifying investments and things of that nature, but real estate's going to be first.
Diversify your bonds, Wu-Tang forever. Do you know that reference?
I do not.
It's from Chappelle's show.
Yeah, no.
All right, whatever. Maybe two people will laugh. Okay.
Maybe.
So you got that going on. Let's get into some fun stuff. Tell us some crazy stories or some annoying things that you hate that have been going on in the business lately, whether it's loan officers, attorneys, other agents. What's some crazy stuff that you see that drives you nuts?
So I'll give you this one. There's certain attorneys that I've worked with recently that are big on the whole attorney-client privilege. And so they will not communicate with the agent nearly enough because they think it breaks the attorney-client privilege, which legally it does. But you got to keep me involved in the deal. I got to know what's going on.
Well, they can keep you involved without telling you that pertinent, legal information, no?
You would think.
Okay.
But some people just say, thanks for the memo. I'll tell you when we're closing. No, keep me involved. I need to know.
Yeah.
Because the client doesn't know how to handle the deal if there's a bump in the road or there's, something wrong. I know how to handle the deal. I know how to call the people that get it fixed.
Yeah, it's also not these attorneys aren't going to pick up the phone at any time to talk to them. Meanwhile, you're going to service the clients.
Exactly. So that's been, annoying recently. I've been dealing with that on a couple of deals, but overall, nothing too crazy. There's obviously not so great agents in the world, agents.
But yeah, it's any business, truth be told.
Yeah,
I do think that our industry has a knack for attracting unprofessional people, not just on the realtor side, but even the attorneys, honestly, but the loan officer side as well. It's remarkable. I don't know what it is. No, honestly, I wish I did, but just kind of the way it is.
I think people see it as this whole get rich quick scheme, and that's why they jump in. They're just I'm going to make $10,000 in a month because I sold this guy a house.
But to be fair, that is how realtor broker owners market the business, and it's how loan officer brokerage owners market the business, right? Because they're trying to recruit new talent. So what's the easiest way to get someone to come? They're okay, let me tell this kid who they run into. I hear it all the time. I hired someone recently that worked in retail and had incredible sales skills, and that person was brought out of that to come into the mortgage business.
Yeah.
And then that person was promised all these things by that person. None of them came through, and this person was very, very frustrated and recently joined my team.
Okay.
Right? So it's our fault in a way. I think I just answered my own question.
Yeah, we didn't set we as professionals don't set the right expectations with people trying to get into the business.
Yeah.
We don't tell them it's going to be really, really tough and it's really going to be awful and it's going to be a grind for 3 to 5 years before you start really, really seeing money. But you see, we tell them, yeah, you can make 10 grand in a month. And you're like, oh,
I mean,
great.
you can.
You can, absolutely. But also,
is it realistic to expect that every month with it being easy and not grinding and all that stuff?
Exactly.
It's not possible. I mean, when I interview LOs to come on my team, that is literally the first thing that I do. Right? I was like, you realize that this is a grind and you're going to have to work your face off for any, like, minimum 2 years, probably 5, 6.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, yeah, I'm ready to do it. None of them say no.
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to say no at an interview?
Like, no, I'm a mind.
Right. And look, I also, like, I've got a couple of people on my team who aren't on that level too, where they want to grind. But the thing is, they're okay with not reaching the top. They got other stuff going on in their life, so it's fine. And that's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay. But, like, don't say that you want to be this machine that, takes all this production and does all these numbers, and then you're not willing to do the work.
Correct.
And ultimately, truth be told, it comes from leadership. Mm-hmm. Right. So even, like, I notice myself these days, like, because I don't like to be confrontational and aggressive. You know that about me. However,
this is news to me. I've known you for like 2 years. This is all you've ever been. Yeah, what do you mean?
Not really.
Maybe you're different in a professional setting.
In a professional setting, I'm very different. I actually don't consider this a professional setting because we're chilling, we're talking. But with my team,
with like clients and your team.
Yeah, with my team, I didn't push them enough. I wasn't as aggressive, and I'm being much more aggressive with them now because I have a responsibility to make them grow. Of course, it's not on me, right? They have to do the work, but I need to push them and say, hey, you need to go to this event. You need to do open houses. You need to bug realtors 50 times a week and stop by their open houses.
Don't bug me.
Right? It's stuff that they hate, but look, they'll come across you and maybe 20 other realtors like you that don't want to be bothered, but they'll hit 1 or 2 that could enjoy the company. They'll build a relationship. Absolutely. So it makes sense for them, right? And it's working. Yeah. It's working. They've been doing it over the past month, and a lot of the stuff we do together, we go to networking events together, and we have a good time, and we meet people. That stuff works, right? So it's just a matter of pushing them and being aggressive. So that's something I enjoy. And speaking of teams, have you ever thought about, and again, I think it's early for you, Mark, and you didn't mention this, but has it crossed your mind to start a team, the Metzler Compass team or whatever? No?
Yeah. Down the road, I think it'll be, a small team, maybe 3, 4, 5 people. I don't dream of having this insane, like, mega team that's 20, 40, 60 people. Just because I don't think it would be enjoyable for me. I would rather have like a small, close-knit group. And I can do enough production on my own to fund the lifestyle that I want. So, if I can bring on somebody that really wants to learn the business and I get along with them, he or she will, come under my wing. I'll teach them. We'll do great business together. Hopefully they have a strength that I don't have so that they can compliment me on that. And I can compliment them with, the mentorship and any of the strengths that I have and all the experience. But realistically, it's not in my future for another at least 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not against it, but it has to make sense for you.
I think honestly, it's a necessary thing if you want to continue growing, because you have to get an assistant at one point. You have to.
Well, there's a difference between getting an assistant and having and having other roles on the team.
If you're going to get an assistant, I believe if you get an assistant and let's say you're paying them $60,000 a year because they're phenomenal and they handle everything for you, you should bring on a buyer's agent or another agent that really brings in the extra income to pay for that assistant.
I understand.
My personal opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good way to put it. So basically the income that agent is bringing in for you will pay for the assistant, but then again, you're providing that agent with a ton of opportunity by being on your team, whether it's helping out with open houses, giving them buyers, maybe giving them sellers, who knows.
Correct.
So, okay, I got you. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. That's like an everybody wins type thing.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's April, end of April. Any big plans for the summer? Just grinding like a lunatic?
I have to save to buy a house. You know that. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
I got goals to hit. I want to hit a certain number this year. I'm on pace, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Every month I'm like, all right, how the hell am I going to do it this time? And I somehow end up doing it, but it's still not anywhere near as pleasant as it was previously when it was 3% rates. You know,
Yeah.
it's a fight and it's a grind now.
Well, the thing is, no matter what, there's a challenge.
Yes.
The question is, how good are you adapting to that particular challenge? So, for instance, when rates were really low, our challenge was we had too much work to do. And we were working 14 to 16 hours a day. Like legit, especially during COVID, I would wake up and I would go right to my desk. And then I would eat lunch at my desk. I'd have dinner, and then I'd go back to work. And it was actually quite convenient, and it was also a lot of fun. And now that the other problem is that there's no inventory, which we've been saying for years, but it's gotten worse. And basically acquiring new business and acquiring more market share. So again, the question is, how good are you adapting to each of these problems? For most loan officers and realtors, again, that problem is generating leads, converting those leads, right?
Correct.
It's the hard work. So back then, we were doing the easy work. Being too busy and working on data and structuring files is easy to do.
Yeah.
It's harder, especially when you're going from that when business is just handed to you, to be proactive and just boom, go after. You have to get into shark mode and go after it again. So a lot of people still haven't been able to tap back into that.
Correct.
And they need to.
That was the whole thing that every coach and every realtor was always talking about on social media was get back to basics. When, the rates were increasing, we still had no inventory and there was nothing to do. There was top producing realtors, and I'm talking 40, 50, 60, $70 million a year top producing realtors that are going, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Interesting.
And I'm like, it'll be okay. It's just a temporary pause. And sure enough, it was. Everything picked up, I would say, February-ish. And everybody just had to get back to basics, doing their mailers, doing their cold calls, doing their follow-up, doing their open houses, and they got their business back. It wasn't just the phone was ringing off the hook 7 days a week anymore. So people had to transition from that, and I didn't really feel that transition because I was always doing the work, always doing the open houses, always doing the follow-up.
And you were fairly newer into the business too, so it's not like you had this massive network who just reached out to you.
Yeah.
So you were in a building phase anyway.
Correct.
So I think it's also kind of a blessing.
It's a blessing and a curse, yeah.
Yeah, because if you were in the business for 5-6 years already, you probably would have made double, triple what you made during that time. But then again, so I see it with loan officers that joined the business in 2020, 2021.
Yeah. They
have a lot of them haven't been able to adapt.
Correct.
Right? Because it's two things, right? They're going from refis to purchases, which refis are way less work. They're way easier. And on top of it, they don't know how to, they were basically order takers. They pick up the phone, okay, you want to refi, okay, great, blah, 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 send you LE, closed.
Yep.
Whereas now they have to be proactive, go after it. They literally do not know how to do that, which is why I think, 40, 50% of loan officers didn't renew their license last year.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that.
I'd love to know that. I would love to know that stat for realtors.
I think it's just as high. It's very similar.
I love that.
Yeah, a lot of people. But again, Darwinism, survival of the fittest. That's from Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Amazing movie. Have you seen it, Tyler? I think so. Watch it again. Let's watch it together.
So
Darwin. Sorry, Mark.
Ben, I don't want to talk about business the whole time, but I do want to talk, a little bit about the industry. What are some things that have been pissing you off recently?
Oh, yeah, we slightly dabbled into this before. So this is a funny one. I had an agent call me the other day who I haven't spoken to in, 18 months, say, hello, Ben, do you still do co-branded door hangers with realtors? And I'm like, of course, right? We do co-branded door hangers. And she was basically trying to get me to offer them to her. And then when she finally called me and we spoke about it, and she basically ends up saying, are you still willing to do them? And I said, I'm not going to mention her name, no offense, but I haven't spoken to you for over a year and you're asking for me to pay for door hangers. And it's not about the money. Door hangers are cheap. They're $150.
It's the principle.
Right. It's one, be a decent person, stay in touch. And two, I'm like, look, door hangers don't really make sense for me because people rarely actually have never reached out to me directly from a door hanger. It hasn't happened one time, and I've done literally tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not referring me business as the realtor and I'm paying for that stuff, it makes no sense.
Correct.
And her response was, well, I'm a listing agent. I'm not going to send you any buyers. And I was just like, so let me get this straight. You're asking me to pay for door hangers, and I haven't done a deal with you before. I don't think I have anyway. And then on top of it, you're asking me to pay for something and you have zero intention in sending me business.
Correct.
How does that make any sense?
Because you're just supposed to pay for everything.
That's true. That's true. Oh, I have another good story.
Okay.
I shouldn't talk about this one, actually.
Yes, you should.
No, because I still do business with them. I just pre-approved the buyer.
Tell me later.
I've told you this one before. You probably forgot it. I'm not going into it.
I always
so
forget
anyway,
your stories.
Yeah. I'm leaving that one alone. I'll save that for our group chat. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of been it. You know, that was the most recent one, but there's always something, you know, like I had someone call me the other day and I picked up the phone. I'm like, you know, good afternoon. This is Ben speaking. How can I help you today? What is your interest rate? And yeah, something like that. And I was just like, I'm doing well. Thank you very much. What's your name, sir? That was literally my response.
I've done that to people.
Yeah, it's like, be polite. Like, I understand if you're in a rush.
Yeah.
But, you know, start off with just, again, I hate small talk.
And that's also just not something you can quickly answer.
Yeah, the truth is, but they don't know that. To be fair to them, they don't know that. But again, because you know me, I'm very direct.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, like, be polite. So, like, even for myself, I've talked about this quite a bit. Like, I despise when people message me and like ask me about my day and how things are going, and then ask me for a favor. Because it basically erases all the small talk of you caring before.
That's,
so like,
you know, they didn't care.
So yeah, so let me teach them. Let me teach you people. If you need a favor from someone, you reach out to them, obviously say hi, and then ask them, hey, didn't want to bother you. I just need to be quick about this. Can you do this, this, and this? And then be like, and you know, that person will respond, and then ask them, right? Then ask them, how's everything? How are your kids? How's your family? Because that's way more genuine, because they've already established that they can or they cannot do the favor for you.
Exactly.
And then asking them after is just more legitimate. I mean, that's what I do. It works well for me. And the truth is, when I'm asking, I actually care.
Exactly.
Right? I want to know how my friend, business friend, whatever, how their life is going. I legitimately care, but we have business to address first.
It's funny you bring that up, because I do that, and I didn't realize that I do that. On the back end, I ask for the favor first, and then I'll be like, hey, well, thanks for that. How's the kids?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It's funny.
That's the way. We've unlocked a secret there, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll cut this out.
You got to be nice people. Ask for the favor, then be nice. Don't be nice, then ask for the favor, because then it's...
Especially fake nice.
It's disingenuine.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have a client that he'll never see this, so I can talk about it. He's a little bit disassociated with society. He has a computer job, doesn't really talk to a lot of people during the day, so the social skills have degraded over the years.
Gotcha.
And I can tell that he knows to do the niceties every time I see him. So he'll just be like, hey, Mark, how are you? You know, nice to see you today. All right, cool. So let's do this and let's go see the house. And I'm like, all right, that was so disingenuous.
Yeah, you didn't need to do that.
I was like, just say hi, whatever, and move on. I was like, you don't actually care how my day was, so let's do this.
And I'm sure he's not a bad guy.
He's a great
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
But he has no social skills.
Yeah. Not everyone is blessed like you.
No. And but blessed like you with a British accent.
That's true.
It wins everybody over.
Yeah, it's just automatic. But then they get to know me and I ruin everything.
That's true.
So that's
or they send you DMs and then you're rude to them.
Yeah.
About your,
the one
tiger.
You saw the one yesterday with that that was a bot. That was a bot. I told the bot to F off, and the bot responded F you.
Yeah.
I was shocked, honestly, that maybe it wasn't a bot.
Yeah. That was funny.
Shoot, I had something. I lost my train of thought.
The DMs that we get are just ridiculous.
They're pretty funny. Instagram is an interesting place. Social media in general is interesting.
I probably get one oh, I'm a foreign investor with crypto and I have millions and millions of dollars. I want to pay in cash and buy this $5 million property. I'm like, sure you do.
Oh, dude, that's an annoying one. It just came back to me. The other thing that drives me insane are random messages where someone's just like, hey. And I'm not talking about from a random person. I mean someone that I know.
Nice.
That I haven't spoken to. They're just like, hey. I was like, what's up? And like, how's it going? Like, I'm great. What's up? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, it's the middle of the day. Like, I get calls from people, like actual friends of mine. This is hilarious. That they call me on a Wednesday at 2. Hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? I'm working, man. It's Wednesday at 2 o'clock. What the do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right. Like this happened last week. It happened last week. I was like, what do you think I'm doing? And what's crazy is the person
voice is getting high. He's serious.
The person that called me is a loan officer. Is a loan officer. Like, what, dude? I'm working. You should be working too. You shouldn't be calling me to chit chat. And so I'm trying to get to the nitty gritty. Like, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
They didn't have a reason to call me other than to chit chat. So I'm like, I love you. If you want to like go grab lunch sometime or dinner, let's do that. But don't call me on Wednesday at 2. Bye. People.
Settle down.
It's the steroids. It's the steroids.
Yeah, it's road rage.
Yeah.
Road
rage.
Yeah, both of them.
A little bit of both. I watched, what was that show on Netflix? Beef. You're not a huge Netflix guy.
No, I don't have Netflix.
Good idea. It's a waste of time.
Yes.
But it's a show about...
I do have YouTube Premium, though.
You see it?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like basically how a road rage incident evolves into this like beef between this guy and this girl, and they like ruin each other's lives, like literally ruin each other's lives. And it's really, really funny, but it's also like a good drama as well. That was a great show. And Ali Wong, who's like one of my favorite comedians, is the star. She's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, she is freaking funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to borrow my girlfriend's password and watch the show then.
Yeah, I honestly think that you would like it. You know, it's pretty easy to binge. You know, that's what I did. I finished it in like 2 days, a couple weeks ago or a week ago. I don't know. So yeah, it's a good one.
Benjamin. I know you hate when I call you Benjamin.
I do.
I know.
Actually, that didn't annoy me for some reason.
I do.
Maybe it was the way you said it. Maybe because you was seductive in the way you said it.
That's probably why. I know.
Even the I know was seductive.
I know. So we talked about what's next for me. What's next for you?
Oh, it's a good question.
Because I know you're purchasing a vehicle soon.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you want to share about it or flex.
That doesn't really count as a thing.
It's
nice.
Like
I've been looking because like my current car was supposed to be a temporary car, like 6 months max, and then it turned into a 2-year car.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'm wasting too much time like looking at cars. Let me just buy a freaking car and like be done with it.
But you won't stop looking though.
Yeah, I will stop looking when I got bored of it in like a week.
Yeah.
So I'll stop for a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be fun. It's a fast car. It's a fun one. I won't get into the details, but it's a great one.
Yeah. It'll be nice once you get it.
Yeah, I think what's next for me is that I really just want to grow my team and I want to continue growing my business. So that's really the two things. Would love to buy some more real estate if it makes sense to do so.
You know any good realtors?
I know one.
Oh.
You know, he's kind of a giant.
Oh.
And standing next to him like emasculates me a little bit, so I don't like to stand next to him, but sometimes I do. When we take the picture after, it will be hilarious. You got to get me a booster or something.
In a different world, I should have been like a quarterback or a tight end or something.
You should have.
Yeah.
There's still time.
Make $50 million a year.
Yeah.
Instead
easy.
of like, this chump change that we're making.
Right. We do well. We do well.
Okay.
We're very grateful, but at the same time, we work for it. We work very hard for it.
It's never enough, but it's, it's more than enough, but it's never enough in the same conversation.
I think, look, you have to find the balance of being happy with what you have, but still having that drive for more. And I honestly haven't figured it out yet, but I'm working on it because I think it's really important to stop and smell the roses and enjoy what you have and what you've accomplished, but at the same time, keep pushing for more. It's very, very important because otherwise you're just in this place in life where you're just working and you want more and like every day you're miserable, and then maybe you're not miserable, but you're not as happy as you could be. And the idea that I've been playing with, I don't know how accurate it is, but I think that if you genuinely enjoy your day to day, so I'm like legitimately a happy person. I'm happy almost every single day. Do I have my moods where I get a little bit grumpy for a few hours? Absolutely.
Unless you're yelling at people on Instagram.
Right, but that to me, I'm not angry when I'm doing that. To me, it's just funny. It's just how I entertain myself. But legitimately, I'm happy every single day, and I'm still grinding and I'm still working, but I'm still calibrating it. Because I think that when you're a happy person, it shows in your energy, in your posture. It makes you like, when I'm working, I don't feel like I'm working. This isn't work to me. This is us just like having a good time, chilling, right? So that energy oozes into who you are physically. It opens you up, and then people want to be a part of it. So Barry Habib, who is the owner of MBS Highway, which is a very important mortgage resource for our loan originators, he calls it magnetism.
Okay.
Right, is that when you're around people and you make those people feel good, that energy will come back to you. I don't think it's karma or law of attraction, some hippie mumbo jumbo. I think it's a real thing that when you make other people feel good, that energy spreads, and oftentimes that energy will come back to you in the form of business. But doing it for the simple sake of getting business does not work.
Correct.
Because it comes off as disingenuine.
That, and you have the poor intentions.
Right.
You know, you're just there to get business out of them. You're not genuine, like you said.
Exactly.
And it's, you know, it's very true, and it's something that, you know, I used to get sick of hearing from people that were more successful from me. They're like, oh my God, I'm so happy all the time. And, you know, I'm so grateful and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, shut up. We're all miserable. The whole world sucks. And then now that, you know, I'm a little bit more successful, I was like, life ain't bad. Life's not bad, man. You know?
Yeah. It's so true, man. But look, you kind of have to go through that grind to get there. Maybe that's why you appreciate it now, because you went through it. I don't know about you, man. Like sometimes, like I'll be out doing something, whether I'm like having drinks or I'm hiking or whatever the case may be, and I'll just stop with whoever I'm with, and I'm just like, "Isn't this amazing?"
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Ben, shut the hell up! Like, let's. What are you talking about? Let's keep going. You're taking us out of it." And it's like, no, like just this is great. Like this is life. Life is really amazing, isn't it? And it is. It can be, but life, I think, takes effort.
Yes.
You have to be intentional with how you want your life to look. And again, we haven't figured everything out. We're not even close. Sure. But I think we're on the right track.
Yes.
And we're doing well, and we're going to continue to do well. So with that said, Mark, I think we've hit everything that we have to hit for today. Unless you have any last, I don't know, thoughts, whether they're positive, negative, anything that you want to tell the people of America.
I think the people of America can learn that I am the best realtor in Westchester County for them.
Boom.
And I have a good mortgage broker for them to refer to. But if they want the best, I have the British mortgage broker.
What a gentleman. Absolute gentleman. Mr. Metzler, thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you in a year or so.
That's it.
Well, on here. I'll see you somewhere else in an hour.
Yeah. Be good.